Diary of a Crusader Novitiate, Part 2, Entry 8, January 18th, 1911. The battlefield was a ruin of flesh and fire. The heretic legion had fought harder than most. Their forces dug deep into the ruins of the city that had once belonged to the faithful. Now it was nothing more than charred husks, a place where the screams of the long-lost mingled with the ceaseless droning of infernal hymns. The chapter hall had done its work, pounding their defenses with holy fire before we marched in to finish what the cannons could not. We swept through the broken streets, our voices raised in sacred hymn, our blaze burning with righteous fury. They did not break easily, as we had hoped. These men, if you could call them that, fought with a determination that should not have belonged to the damned. They did not flee, did not falter, even as we cut them down. And then I saw him. At first he was just another blackened warrior amid the wrecks of the heretics, another soldier clad in the rusted iron of the anointed. But the way he moved, the way he wielded his blade, it was familiar, too familiar. Even through the grotesque armor, I knew it was him, Julian. I had long suspected he was lost to us, but to see him standing among the damned, to see him bearing the symbols of the infernal upon his flesh, I had not been prepared for that. We had trained together once. We had prayed together. We had spoken of what our future would be, of the glories we would bring to the faith. And now he was here, standing upon the ruined bones of the holy, bearing the weight of the unholy upon his back. I hesitated. That alone nearly was my undoing. Another heretic lunged for me. An instinct took over. My blade found his throat. The battle resumed as though nothing had changed, and yet everything had. I did not seek Julian that day, though I knew our paths would cross. The war was far from over, and fate had always had a cruel sense of timing. Entry 9, January 20th, 1911. The world does not slow. The chapter hall moves ever onward, devouring the land beneath its steel threads, and we, the faithful, march in its shadows, bringing judgment to those who had turned from the light. The heretic legion does not scatter like the others. They are not merely men fighting for land, for greed, for the desperate chance at survival. No, they are something worse. Men who have embraced damnation willingly, who have given their bodies and souls to the infernal. Their weapons are twisted things, built from both steel and flesh. Their armor carries marks of torment, their sigils of their dark patterns. And yet the worst thing about them is not that defilement, it is their eyes. I saw it when I looked upon Julian again. The battlefield had carried us in separate tides of the first day, but now there was no avoiding it. The forces of the Legion had gathered upon a shattered bridge, one of the last defensible points before we could press deeper into the city ruins. The fighting was close, brutal, no room for strategy, only for the weight of the metal and the strength of will. And then I saw him once more, standing amidst the carnage, his massive frame withered in smoke and blood. He was no longer the man I had once known, no longer the brother I had fought besides. His armor was thick and cruel, shaped by the cruel infernal hands, marked with the burned symbols of the anointed. The black seal of its blade was slick with the blood of the faithful. He turned and our eyes met. There was no recognition, no remorse, only the cold certainty of one who has long since abandoned the path of salvation. And yet I did not move. He did not move. For a moment we stood upon the edge of battle, frozen in the knowledge of what had been done and what must come. Then the world pulled us apart once more, the tide of war dragging us in separate directions. But I knew the next time we met, there would be no hesitation. Entry 10, January 23rd, 1911. It is done. The battle had raged for days, the last remnants of the heretic legion fighting to hold their ground against the unyielding advance of the Crusader order. They fought with the desperation of the damned, and in their final moments they sang, not the sacred hymns of the faithful, but the twisted, wretched verses of the fallen, their voices lifted in unholy reverence to the master they served. And at the center of that all, there he stood. Julian had not fled. He had not retreated. He had waited as though he had known outcome. There was no ceremony in our final meeting, no words exchanged, no pleas for redemption. We had long since moved beyond such things. Our blades met, steel clashing against steel, the echoes our strikes lost amid the great war. His strength was immense, fueled by whatever dark power he had taken hold of him. Each blow forced me back, tested my faith, sought to break me as the Legion had broken so many others. But faith does not break. We fought upon the ruins of the city, our battle carving through the bodies of the dead, through the shattered remnants of what had once been holy ground. He struck without hesitation, without mercy, and so did I. I had trained with him once. I had known his every strength, every weakness. And now that the knowledge became my weapon, the opening came in a single fleeting moment. His stance shifted, just slightly, just enough. My blade found its mark. The strike was swift, clean, final. He staggered, his breath raged beneath his infernal helm. For the first time I saw hesitation in his movements, saw the flicker of something that might have been recognition. But it was too late. I watched as he fell, as the blackened blood of the Legion stained the ground stones beneath us. His body trembled for a moment, then it was still. I did not linger. The war did not end with his death. There were still battles to be fought, still souls to be saved. But I know his face will follow me. Even now as I write these words, I see him. I see the man he once was, and the monster he became. And I wonder, if our places had been reversed, if I had been the one to stumble, would he have hesitated? Would he have stayed his blade, just for a moment, as I once did? I will never know. The chapter hall moves forward, the war continues, and I, like all the faithful, march on. And that was part 2 of the diary entries of a Crusader Novitiate. Let me know your thoughts on the story that has progressed thus far. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the trenches.